All right, so let's go over this trade recap. I ended up taking a win, which is a log on crude oil. Um, yeah, I mean, this is the second time recording this video. Unfortunately, the first recording was bugged. Um, so yeah, where I'll go over it again. No problem. So aside from indices and metals here, it's pretty important. It does play a role in my trade, or what they're doing at the time. So I come around charts around 8, but so it would be pretty much like one-sided bear bullish here on indices and even metals, right? Honestly, metals could probably just consolidate too. They don't have to expand, but like when I'm seeing in these highs, it's not reversing. Look at RTY being all the way up here. Um, Weekly starting to look like a reversal candle, right? Obviously, I mean, it already is, but so like not the largest wick, we can definitely expand today, right? Even look at daily. So you'd be pretty much one-sided bullish. But look at the profile, right? So you can destroy it. So that's probably why we didn't get there. All right. So again, I come around the charts around 8 right here. So what am I seeing on indices, right? We're just clearly not a true reversal, by the way. We're just expanding lower. So we probably need 10, right? You probably need to manipulate the low, right? Because you can destroy, which we do with SMT and wherever, and you can trade this as a reversal. But I'm expecting this manipulation to happen, right? So around 8, right? Same thing here, figure here. This has it right, not a reversal whatsoever, but it's expanding lower. So we probably need a new 4-hour, right, to be aligned. So even here, right, ideally you want to be bullish, just like indices of metals, which technically you can be, right? So look at that high day, it's 1800. There's a one stage crack here on PSP, but we expand away and then create gaps. Beautiful, right? We want to see those hold, but no, what do? We just trade through them, right? Just around the same time, we just trade through them. We don't even hit low day, so I mean, it's just consolidation, right? But I'm trading oils. I'm logging oils while this retracement is happening on indices and metals, right? So we know this is probably just very likely just a retracement on these right here, these assets, but that does not invalidate like taking longs here, taking longs what these retrace lower, right? That is valid to me. So let's go over the framework here. After why I could expect that to even happen. So as you can see, right, we had SMT here, right? So this has trades into the low. What does it do? It just consolidates, right? This is just consolidation on a weekly basis, and I mean even monthly. You could say it's quite a long time we've been consolidating. So now we break the SMT, right? And if you look closely at RB, no, I mean, we break the SMT on crude oil and AHO as well. So it happens on both assets. That's right, very good. So I know it's probably going to be a retracement. Like, so I'm logging this. It's probably going to be a retracement because ideally we will have SMT break paired with one of these assets holding the SMT, because now we're just hitting this low. Obviously, unless we get a 2-stage here, right, off of the key level, right? But probably not a reversal here to go higher necessarily, but I'm assuming we can at least retrace, right? If I go to RB, as you can see, this was my bad current high week right there, and we cannot displace through it. And now we're engaging with current low week, and we're now displacing through it, right? So what does this turn into? Seek and destroy conditions, right? So I'm pairing seek and destroy conditions on RB with SMT break to trade a high probability retracement. That's the idea here. Very simple, right? What's the day do? It opens low, right? That also supports it to potentially bring a reversal candle, right? And I go 90-minute. There is a 90-minute PSP here, right? And then we trade higher, right? If I go 30-minute as well, there is 2-stage at low day, exactly when we impact this low right here, right? Current low week, there's a 2-stage right like that. And then every asset expands away, right? So I was not on the charts to trade this right here. And even then, the 4-hour wick is pretty damn large. Might as well, this is like 5. You might as well wait for 6, right? So at that point, which I'm not on the charts again, I count the charts around 8. So yeah, then we're pretty much forced to trade universal sequence off of I consider this a true reversal. Yeah, it's 2-stage crack off of like pretty much is. So we're forced to trade universal sequence, right? And so we don't get any cracking correlation here in this gap. So then we expand it away again, and then we get this right here, right? So you can see this candle here is PSP, and we get SMT fill. Now, one of the things is it's very important for me is validating this PSP as a key level, right? It's very important since right here, it's not 30-minute gap, as you can see. It is very important that it is on both of the two other assets for me in the chart. Like, I personally require this, right? It's been helping me quite a bit to have 2 of these assets actually have a key level there, right? 2 out of the 3. That's how you validate it. In my opinion, again, you don't have to do it. Other GXT traders don't do it. They sometimes do it where only one asset, and it's fine, right? So it's like 2-stage SMT, like PSP plus SMT fill, right? That's pretty much it. That's all it is. There is, but why did I take crude oil instead of RB, right? It is, we'll go over that, right? Because technically, obviously, this is strongest, and this technically is the weakest, or this is the middle asset, right? So what, this is on the intermediate time frame, right? Really, because if you look at the daily wick here, this is the largest expansion. So technically, higher time frame wise, this is the middle asset, right? And it's actually also confirmed here, but yeah. So why did I trade this asset and not RB? That is because RB is going to create an hourly gap, all right? While CR is not, all right? So I'm assuming RB, since these are very close proximity, this is a very close proximity relevant swing, right? RB is going to be able to trade into this high. And then when that happens, I'll be able to manage my position on crude oil. Because crude oil should also expand higher, right, at the same time, right? Obviously, if it's a reversal. And then once we engage with this high, again, I can manage my position. And if we do want to retrace, by the way, this is where it's very likely, it's almost a requirement that if we're going to trade into this high right here, we do not want to see this asset do this, right? That there will be no need to do that. If we did soup that low, and for example, this printed hourly gap, obviously that would be at 10, right? So by this time we already delivered the draw liquidity, which I'll talk about in a second. But we do not want to see this, right? So ideally we get this, right? If you're gonna go higher, so you technically be protected, right? That's how you can fade these. It's not the highest probability thing to do. Ideally, you just wait for the hourly, because we're like, I'm assuming that we are going to expand into this high, and that we might get a new phase of price off of that, or we might just rip through it. Who knows, right? So, but I'll be able to manage my position. If RB trades into this high, CL is probably going to expand towards as well, create potentially close proximity SMT. And so I'll be able to either go Ricky or reduce risk to half, pretty much. It's very, very likely, right? So let's go over where I TP'd. So I took CL, right? And it's very important that any SMT, which literally what ends up happening, any SMT with higher debt is to be considered higher probability because of the daily profile, right? The daily profile does not support expansion higher. This probably is going to be I'm assuming it might be, by the way, it doesn't have to be, but I'm assuming it might be a reversal candle, but that does not mean that we should just keep expanding past the high that, like, the daily wick does not support it. So anything around opening price and higher debt, again, that's where you want to TP, and any SMT with high debt is highly likely to hold, which is exactly why I actually TP before this high gets hit. Actually, probably around opening price, yeah. and then ITP when RB hits the draw, right? Arguably, this created failure swings, and you could say that 10, we're probably gonna reverse it at 10. So ideally, you could wait for 10, and then if we hadn't delivered by 10, you'd be a little bit concerned. But in this case, we do deliver by 10. So something I could have done. I really think it's logical to TP at 3R instead of like 4 point something. I really don't care about giving like away that much profit because I know this is very likely a retracement, and we could definitely just held the SMT. It's like that. Even if it's fair swings, totally possible. So yeah, I mean, this is like pretty much textbook in the context of where it has to happen. Also, like, you're using a 30-minute, it's like around EQ on this asset as well. So it's probably fine to fade the hourly. And again, I'm doing it just because we are very close to these. If we were in the middle of nowhere, like I wouldn't do that, right? So yeah, that's like the whole framework behind this trade. And I'll go over the execution. Like something very important, obviously, if I'm trading this asset, I personally, before we go over the executions, let's talk about this. So if I'm trading this asset, I want to see every asset reverse. It's very important. You just don't want to see RB, CSD higher, right? Showing me that's reversing, and then this asset just consolidate, right? Then it's probably likely that we're gonna engage with this high without this asset expanding, right? But if every asset is expanding, we can assume that they should all expand towards the draw liquidity at the same time, right? So what do we have? A nice V-shaped signature around the 9 AM open, right? So 9 AM opens, puts in the SMT, V-shaped signature, immediate CSD, very fast, all of these assets. And if I go here over HO, as you can see, we have CL CSDing, but HO, RB as well did CSD, but HO didn't, right? So what did HO do though? It inverts this gap. It probably is a 1 minute CSD again. So you could probably use that, right? As you can see, there is a 1 minute CSD, but this inversion here pretty much tells me that we are likely to, where we are, okay, I lost that. So every asset is reversing, and that is beautiful. That is what I want to see if I am not trading strength switch, right? Because this is not a strength switch. This is just a 2-stage, right? So you do want to see every asset V-shape. That shows me that, yeah, we are reversing. Actually, every asset is reversing here, so we should trade higher, right? So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Very nice framework, honestly. Even though it was arguably just a retracement. But yeah, right. So these are the executions here. So I enter market right there. Once exactly when we CSD, right, I enter market on the next candle. And yeah, around the opening price right here is where I TP, right? Again, I just closed it manually, right? I had my TP set here. I just closed it manually at 3R once RB took the high. I mean, actually a couple of seconds after, but yeah, I mean, still same thing, right? So yeah, this was around 3R. And that's it. That's the whole trade idea, everything behind it. And yeah, pretty good trade if I do say myself. All right. So yeah, that's gonna be all.